Los Angeles. Hello, fans of Major League Soccer. Hello, lovers of the beautiful game. And hello to the millions
and millions
of Defenders of the Bank listeners. This is episode 261, the recap of the loss at home to the Vancouver Whitecaps, eh? What the Canucking hockey puck maple syrup Labatt's nonsense this was. We'll talk about that momentarily. Apologies for all the Canadian stereotypes. I happen to love most things about Canada. Some of the people in Canada, actually a lot of the people in Canada, are some of the loveliest people you will ever meet. And I'm actually happen to be heading there on Wednesday for a wedding. But that's besides the point. My name, for those who know or don't know, is Christian Philly Philemon, the platinum-colored hair flamingo, coming to you live from world-famous Philomonster Studios in Burbank, California. Joining me, as always, the Tom to my Jerry, the Itchy to my Scratchy, the Laurel to my Hardy, the Abbott to my Costello, and the Carlos Vela to my Denis Bouanga, the mouth of the South Bay, J.R. Liebert.
The scarf. Wow. I'm the Carlos Vela in this. I'll take it. I mean,
you're older. I don't know. I mean, either or, it can't go wrong. They do account for pretty much everything that LAFC does.
Look, absolutely. It has been that kind of a season so far. What's good, everybody? The answer is not much after this match. It's a trend that I don't like that we are starting here towards the middle point of this season. First win on the road for Houston all year. First win on the road for Vancouver all year. Got to stop doing this. We got to stop letting teams know that we're all of a sudden becoming a little hospitable at BMO this season. We are definitely not defending the bank like we used to. Look, it was an incredible atmosphere before the match. During the match, not so much. Before we get into it, I want to remind everybody that we are part of the Flex family. Head on over to flexpowertools.com. Really happy, by the way, and I hope he's okay with me naming him by name because I'm about to. But Gil from Cuervos, Gil Torres, he talked to us about his experience with Flex Power Tools just today at the tailgate, and he was extremely happy, satisfied, and had nothing but positive things to say. And look, if you think we're just corporate shills for Flex, and you know what? Sometimes we are. They are our sponsor. They are the primary sponsor of Defenders at the Bank. Look, if we're just corporate shills, Gil has no reason to lie to us. Gil could come to us and say, hey, those Flex Power Tools were crap. He did not say that. He genuinely thought they were wonderful. Philly, you have a Harry? No, who is that? Is that a Harold?
I mean, how many other tuxedo cats are in this house?
Yeah, that's a Harold. Look, so if head on over to flexpowertools.com, we have some exciting news and some giveaways that we will be doing starting in July. Lots of cool things going on with Flex. But again, we are part of the Flex family. I want to thank them for being the sponsor of Defenders of the Bank and, of course, the Front of Kit sponsor for your defending 2022 MLS Cup champion, Los Angeles Football Club. And look, we got to get this field funded. We got to get this field built. And if we're going to do that, you got to go to LAFC.com/Mo-Facio to get as much fundraising done as possible. After each and every match, we talk about it, and we talk about it, but I'm tired of talking about it. Let's get it funded. Look, I'm going to say this. Right now it is Sunday, June 25th at 12:37 in the morning. That's right. It is a beautiful Sunday morning. And you know what? $25 for June 25th. Why not? Because we're tired and I can't think of anything else right now. So I'm going with Sunday, June 25th, $25. Philly, your thoughts?
11 for Denis Bouanga's 11th goal of this Major League Soccer season.
I like it. I thought maybe it was 11 for Timothy Tillman playing today. More on him in just a little bit too. But look, again, want to thank everybody over at Flex. I want to make sure that we're fundraising for Mo. Philly, before the match today, out on Christmas Tree Lane about 2:00. You got to take part in the ceremony, by the way. That was kind of neat. Want to give a big shout out to Taylor and Max. An incredible. I've never been to a wedding anything like it. First of all, it was 20 minutes long, so it was definitely my favorite wedding I've ever been to. But more so, the love that was in and around Christmas Tree Lane during that beautiful ceremony from start to finish. It was fantastic. And again, all of the 3252, all the supporters groups on Christmas Tree Lane, they gave them their space. It was great. They turned off their music. Many came over to support. And it was an incredibly beautiful, incredibly moving ceremony. Look, whether you agree with anything or not about pride, here's all I want to say before I'm going to step off my soapbox. Love is love, and for whomever finds love in anybody else, I think we should celebrate that. We've had enough reasons over these last 3 years, over these last 5 years, 10 years, however far back you want to go. We've had enough reasons to commiserate. I don't think we're finding enough reasons to celebrate. And if for some reason you are against love of any kind blossoming in any situation that it can, my only hope is that when you get presented with a situation where your beliefs on love are challenged in the way that they might have been out on Christmas Tree Lane today or inside BMO Stadium, I just hope that if it is a family member of yours, a friend of yours, or a complete stranger, that you are as open to and tolerant of love being love for whomever it is love for as what we saw out on Christmas Tree Lane today. So beautiful ceremony. Congratulations to Taylor and Max.
Congratulations indeed. And yeah, it was an honor to be a part of the ceremony. I held back some of the, I don't know what the streamers, making sure that they weren't going to catch any fire because oddly enough, it became very windy during their wedding.
Yeah.
Candles were knocked over. There was smoke was popped. It happened to come a lot into my face, but it was a beautiful moment. And one of the most beautiful moments of the entire scenario is when the official of the day, Brian, spoke about how a traditional wedding has one of these. Well, who gives this person to the wed? What Brian indicated was, we want everybody here. This is a community that loves Taylor and Max. I want everybody to shout, "We do." And we went ahead and did so. And that was a very powerful moment because it truly was the community. And if you really want to listen to Taylor and Max's story, I highly recommend listening to the LGBT FC podcast with our buddy Luke. They go into great detail of the trials and tribulations of both Max and Taylor's life coming up and what led to the decisions that they made and obviously the love that they found together. And I'm with Scarf. Love is love. The world is a twisted and messed up place, but it doesn't have to be. And if you find it in your heart to obviously accept those that find love, the better to you. But if things like this offend you and you're bothered by it, check your own reality. I personally have zero tolerance for hatred, racism, bigotry, any of that stuff. It bothers me. And I don't want to mention specific names or specific handles or specific accounts. And we've seen the comments. I don't want to give you a platform because quite honestly, you mean about that much to me. Actually, you mean nothing to me, Jack-ish. But you reap what you sow. The reality you create is the reality that you hold in your head and in your heart. And if your head is full of hate, bigotry, racist animosity, look, I feel sorry for you. I don't live with that kind of hatred. I only live for positivity, love, and all kinds of other positive aspects. Y'all suck if you have hatred, animosity, racism, and bigotry in you. And quite honestly, I don't give a rat's ass about you. This bothers you? You bother me. Let's just put it that way. And that's all I have to say about that. Nothing but love to Max and Taylor. Love that LAFC featured them, videotaped them, put them on the big screen during the game. It was Pride Night. The atmosphere was great. I just wish that LAFC would have been able to give Max and Taylor a victory on their wedding day.
Yeah, again, great job by LAFC to come out and support as well. We had Imad, they had videographers and staff members out there supporting as well. Devo was out there and several others. It was great to see. Also, by the way, before we get into the pleasantries of this match, we got to wish a very happy birthday. Now it's 43 minutes past his birthday, but he may still be up partying right now. Who knows? To one Rich Orozco. That's right, LAFC Rich. Happy birthday to you, my friend. A beautiful 2-stick out there in the North End today, designed just for you, Rich. A very happy birthday from us here at Defenders of the Bank. And of course, from all of the millions.
And millions.
Happy birthday, brother.
One more birthday shout out, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Our brother Carlos Aguirre, Global Diplomatic, celebrating his birthday. I believe today. Today is Sunday, right? Oh, God, we're 45 minutes into Sunday. Good Lord. Yes, exactly. Happy birthday to Carlos Aguirre, Global Diplomatic. He is an unbelievable person with all the philanthropic endeavors that he engages in on behalf of our community in impoverished areas. He's truly a special person. He kind of influences me and motivates me to be a little more philanthropic in my own life as well. And the world needs more people like Carlos Aguirre. So on behalf of myself, obviously, Panda, the Gremlins, obviously Scarf and Nina, and you're going to see her thing. Nothing but love, and happy birthday to you too, buddy.
Absolutely, my man. What he does for Global Diplomatic and how he influences the LAFC community. Every time we have an away days, he's got some sort of amazing philanthropic endeavor going on. So absolutely, brother. Happy birthday, Carlos. Lots of great birthday love this week between Reimer and Rich and Carlos. Anybody else out there who's had a birthday, we love you too. Why not? God, we used to start our segment on birthdays. People used to get so pissed, but that's all right. That was back in the day. What we do like to do is a little thing called This Day in LAFC History, and then we'll get into some news and notes and get right into the breakdown of the breakdowns against Vancouver. This is, the game happened on June 24th, so we'll go This Day in LAFC History. June 24th, 2019. Both Diego Rossi and Mark Anthony Kaye named to the 2019 MLS All-Star team. And that is This Day in LAFC History. We'll run right across that one and get to news and notes. Philly, one of my favorite players to ever don the black and gold. He also would don Mario's sombrero on occasion into the North End. He may be headed back, maybe, don't hold your breath, but maybe. We don't really know what's going on with Mamadou Fall right now. What we do know is that as of June 30th, which is in 5 more days, or in our case, 3 more podcasts, June 30th, Mamadou Fall's loan with Villarreal is up. It's essentially up already. They don't have anything going on between now and June 30th. He's already said his goodbyes on social media, which, of course, many in the black and gold community picked up on. He played 25 games for Villarreal B, or Villarreal B, as they like to say. He did have a handful of goals, but also a whole handful of yellow cards and a red card, and couple matches with the big club, with Villarreal. Look, I love Mamadou Fall as much as the next person. I don't know that LAFC is going to bring him back or loan him out. Philly, curious to hear your thoughts on one Mamadou Fall.
I feel like he's had one incredible journey coming over from Senegal to going down to Florida, playing at the Montverde Academy, gracing the Banc of California Stadium, which it was known at the time, with his presence and his authority, his goal-scoring prowess, his defense, his tough play, and going over to La Liga and La Liga 2 was pretty incredible. And all this journey, and he's 20 years old. 20 years old with such upside in his young life and his young career. I would love to have him back. He's a talented kid who's got plenty of upside, plenty of potential to bring. But that being said, I don't know if he's going to be sticking around. I don't know if he's going anywhere else. What I do know, though, is on July 1st, we're going to have some changes and hopefully some player additions and departures, because there are some players we expecting to say goodbye to, but we're also hoping to replenish the roster with a little more firepower, because it kind of sucks when you're depleted and beat up and hurt and going through like 100 games in the span of like 20 hours. It sucks.
Don't forget duty. Don't forget duty.
International duty. That's right. Aaron Long was a part of that on behalf of LAFC today in the United States' 1-1 draw against Jamaica at Soldier Field in Chicago. We could certainly use Mamadou Fall. It'd be fantastic to have him as a starter, a depth piece, whatever. But I'm not 100% confident that we're going to retain his services. I just don't believe that's the case. So, yeah, like you said, don't hold your breaths.
No, I think you and I are just talking in code to where we think, no, he's probably going to get loaned out or outright sold somewhere else. He is still an incredible commodity for this club. And I think that it's so weird to talk about people as commodities. I just don't.
Yeah, you're making them sound like oil. I don't know.
I don't like it, but I mean, our club buys and sells players, right? Like, I don't know how else to put it without. I don't love it. I don't know how to.
It is rather impersonal, obviously, but I mean, commodities are important.
But we don't talk about it in another sport like that. So I just, I got to get my American fandom head wrapped around calling someone a commodity. I don't know. I hate it. I don't like it. But whatever. You mentioned
your orange juice. I just called you a commodity.
I got. Oh yeah, orange juice. That's a fun game. What was that called again? What's that game we were playing with the cards?
Oh, the Pit or something like that.
Pit. Yeah, Pit.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
It's a recreation of what it's like to be on the, I guess in this case, it'd be the Chicago Mercantile with those different types of commodities that get traded. The New York commodities market is quite interesting, but that's mostly known for like oil futures and things of that nature. I think cocoa as well. Chicago's more known for like, pork bellies and things of that nature.
And that's how we've gone off the rails so far on this podcast.
Well, at least that's a little more fun to talk about than this freaking game.
I mean, it is. But it is fun to talk about. Aaron Long getting another U.S. men's national team cap. You brought it up. He started
much to the chagrin of a lot of USMNT supporters. By the way, that USMNT Twitter is like far more toxic than anything I've ever seen in the United States. It is ghastly going on USMNT Twitter.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as going on LAFC Twitter after a Pride match. Look, it's Aaron Long played the first half, 1-1 draw versus Jamaica in their Gold Cup action. So congrats to Aaron Long for earning a cap. I hope your head is okay now. I don't even know, man. It's just gnarly.
His ankle is better because it certainly got broken on that set piece that led to Jamaica's first goal.
Goodness, yeah, that was rough. I wasn't going to bring that up, but yeah, it did not look good for Aaron Long on there. And last thing, we don't really have it in our news and notes, but obviously all of you in the LAFC community are by now very aware of the new Born Raised drop that happened over the course of the last couple of days.
All your wallets are lighter.
Oh my goodness. I'll say this. Nina doesn't ask for much. So when she saw the sweatshirt and wanted it, I'm more than happy to oblige. She tries very hard to take care of me. So I, try and do my best. I did enjoy the duffel bag that they came out with. And of course, my wallet is lighter because they came out with 2 scarves. Thanks, guys. So between those 2 scarves, between the Laban LAFC, the Filipino Heritage scarf, between there's an Armenian Heritage Night scarf that is absolutely beautiful. I was talking about it with Pat. Talk about just knocking it out of the park. I hope that the people of Armenian heritage enjoy that scarf as much as I will. But I'm broke on scarves, and I guess that's a hashtag first world problem. I don't know.
Money must be funny in a rich man's world.
Yeah, let me know when that happens. I can't wait for that.
If you keep buying scarves, it'll never happen.
Yeah, right. That being said, let's get into the Angels City Minute. They have a match tomorrow, actually today, 12:51 a.m. on Sunday, June 25th. We will be there against the Houston Dash.
Yeah, doing the same exact thing that we did today, or whatever the hell day it is.
I hear you. That's our Angel City Minute. Real quick on LAFC 2. Want to give some props to LAFC 2. Their massive win for LAFC 2, 3-1 over the Whitecaps 2. If only we could have won against Whitecaps 1. Christian Diaz got the scoring started in the 39th minute, and a pair of goals for Yekison Suba, the first ever brace in club history, with each being assisted, by the way, by Christian Torres. That finished the job 3-1, and LAFC 2 was able to get their second win on the road of their maiden voyage. Their next match is also on the road against North Texas SC, which is, as Philly likes to say, FC Ribeye Steaks, MLS Next Pro team on July 2nd. So good luck to the boys in LAFC 2 as they head out to the greater Dallas area, I guess.
Yeah, Frisco, baby. Speaking of LAFC 2 scarf, I highly recommend y'all check out Ryan Ayoub's Instagram. Follow his story. R Ayoub official. He's the LAFC 2 player that's a part of this red and gold partnership with Bayern Munich. He's currently in Argentina right now, competing on behalf of Bayern Munich in their little world travel squad for U19s and whatnot. We spoke about that earlier. Check it out. I mean, this is the first example of the benefits of this red and gold partnership, and he was sporting the captain's armband and in one of the more recent posts that I saw. So seeing this kid having rock black and gold colors, and now seeing him in the black and red and white of Bayern Munich is pretty darn cool. So make sure you check him out, give him some love. I mean, this is a big deal for this kid. It's quite fun, quite exciting to watch.
I mean, can you imagine everything that he's going through right now with Bayern and the LAFC 2 having his first professional minutes, and then he goes to the Bayern World Team, and now he gets to play. It's such a cool thing, man. Ryan Ayoub, congratulations, brother. He's such a calm, well-spoken kid, too. That was fun. All right. What do you think? You ready?
Yeah, the breakdown of our breakdown against Vancouver. Let's do it. Yeah. Get it over with and butterfly the hell out of this weekend.
Look, here's the deal.
Not butterfly, goldfish the hell out of this weekend.
Goldfish. I like butterfly. I don't know. Maybe from the Pride bandana they gave out today. There were butterflies on the Pride bandana. It was beautiful. Look, we came in with every reason to be optimistic. Number one, this was a Vancouver club that was out a ton of guys because of international duty. Julian Gressel, Ali Ahmed, and Javane Brown, all on international duty. Russell Tybert, who's out with a knee issue. He's like the longest tenured player in MLS, I think, with their single team right now. And he's kind of old man, breaking down a little bit. And unfortunately questionable, and a player who we would not see was the former teammate of Carlos Vela's. That, of course, would be one Tristan Blackman. So you're talking about a team out Julian Gressel, who's very, very good. Ali Ahmed, excellent defender. Javane Brown, Tristan Blackman, Russell Tybert. And you're thinking, all right, so wait, they're out all these guys, and we've played them twice this season, once at home and once on the road, and shellacked them both times 3-0, while honestly playing downhill for like an entire 180 minutes, just as Philly likes to say, laying the shebang bang down on Vancouver. Every reason, Philly, to be optimistic. Oh, and by the way, coming to BMO Stadium, they've had 4 losses and 3 draws in their history at whatever was called the Banc or BMO. It doesn't matter. They've never beaten us. 7 match. I mean, come on. Every reason to be optimistic. And LAFC coming into this with a 2-game win streak.
No, yeah. I mean, every reason to be optimistic, but 2 of their most deadliest weapons were still on the pitch, in that of Brian White and Ryan Gould, and we will hear their names a couple of times. But this is a team that also has been somewhat well-rested. They did originally have a match scheduled on June the 21st against Colorado in Dick's Sporting Goods Park, but that was a match that was postponed due to crazy, crazy weather, something that we never experienced in the City of Angels. Their most recent match, Scarf, June the 10th, they drew a very tough FC Cincinnati team. The fact that they walked out of that with a draw speaks volumes. They hadn't lost a game since May 27th when St. Louis beat them 3-1. Impressive, devastating win against the Houston Dynamo at 6-2. So while we were kind of slap happy silly yesterday, I did mention that Vancouver's a much better team than we give them credit for.
Did you just say their most recent game was June 10th? They had 15 days off. What is that like? What is that like to have 15 days off?
I don't know.
Or 14 days off, I should say. It was the 24th. I feel like, and again, we'll talk about this. July's not going to get much better, y'all. I feel like this whole Saturday, you're just telling me they played June 10th and then they played June 24th. I hate you, Vancouver. I hate you. Yeah, and I drove up to see you guys up there at BC Place. That was
dumb.
Listen, I love me a Tim Hortons Boston cream donut. That was
fantastic. Yeah, me too, but I'd rather fly to one than drive to one.
Yeah, maybe. Look, it was fun. I can say I did it, right? Check that one off the old dummy bucket list. All right, so Philly, I think we should talk about LAFC and the players that they would be missing, injury, international duty. I don't know what was going on with the game day operator before the match, because we thought we were missing some other players. And by the way, I just want everybody to know, I think the Anaheim Angels have stopped scoring. I think they're done. I think they only got to 25 before their game ended. I looked up in the 5th inning, and we were in Founders Club, and they have the TVs. I look up, it's 23-0, and I almost spit out my beverage. I was like, wait, that's baseball. How do you get to football?
Yeah, you turned around and let me know, as if I've ever given a damn about the Anaheim Angels. But that was a really interesting thing to hear about. You turned around, it's like, yo, the Angels are up, and I'm hearing the Angels are up, and I just about tuned you out. I'm like, why do I care? And then I heard the number you spat out, and I was like, damn, I can't believe that's the score.
I couldn't do that in a video game. I love it. Mike Trout went 3 for 3, and they were like, all right, that's enough. We're taking it.
Didn't like Ohtani go like 1 for 7 or something?
Yeah, he didn't have 2 guys went 5 for 5. 2 guys in the same game. I wonder how many games had 2 guys going 5. Anyways,
back to football.
We're off on a tangent. Philly, LAFC. Who are they missing? What's going on?
Aaron Long, we referred to the fact that he was in Chicago playing on behalf of the U.S. men's national team, so we knew he was not going to be there. Kellen Acosta still out, unfortunately. Jesus David Maria hurt. unfortunately, and still going to be a little while before he comes back. Sergei Palencia, obviously, same story. Maxime Crepeau. The good news is he's in practice and he's taking full-on shots, so we might not be that far off from seeing Maxime Crepeau back in our lineup. So good on that.
Well, that's going to be a fun conversation, right? Maxime Crepeau, John McCarthy. We're not there yet. We're not going to have it today, but
no, we're not there yet. But yeah, like you said, I'm sitting in my seats in Founders Club, just kind of decompressing before the start of the match because we'd been there already for 12 hours, it seems. Well, you anyway, me a little less, but still, long sunny day. On the board, it said no Daniil Maldonado, no Cheeky Palacios,
and no Murray.
And well, we knew about Moody, but
all three of them said disciplinary infractions.
Yeah, so it's like, did they get in trouble? Did they do something naughty, get on Steve's bad list? And that's what would have been the case until Steve realized, oh, poop, I have no one. I don't know. I do know that Cheeky Palacios going in this match is at least one more yellow card away from a suspension. So fortunately, Cheeky didn't have a hot head today, but fortunately we had him. I discussed this with a certain front office person from LAFC, and he came back and said, "Where did you get that bad intel?" And I'm like, "Your game day up staff,
right?"
So that's who we had missing for LAFC.
Yeah, and I mean, we haven't had a wait what moment in a while, but Philly, I think we're gonna get to it when you go through your lineup for LAFC. Let's get into first Vancouver. We talk about Vancouver.
Sorry, I pulled a Prince Valium from Spaceballs just there.
What was
Where
that?
are you going?
Password is 12345. Anyways, head coach for Vancouver, Vanni Sartini. And look, since Vanni Sartini has come over, Vancouver has played better. They are fine. They are a middle of the pack club, and they played like a top of the pack club today. They came out in a 3-1-4-2, and they did so because they did not have Tristan Blackman. So they went with a very different formation. Obviously, again, we talked about no Julian Gressel as well as a big one for them. So in goal, they've kind of switched a little bit back and forth at times with Thomas Asal, but lately he has played much, much better than he did, at least against us, for a handful of matches. Yohei Takaoka, who came over from Yokohama in the J-League, look, I didn't think he was very good when we saw him in the two matches against us because he wasn't very good, but he has since righted the ship. I think he is much more comfortable. He is really acclimated to Major League Soccer life. Not that Vancouver is a difficult situation to acclimate to, but, might be different. I don't know. But he's played much, much better as of late. The three on the back line, Matias Laborda, the 23-year-old Uruguayan who was teammates with, not too long ago anyway, Luis Suarez and Pancho Ginella at Nacional just recently. Also defender Ranko Veselinovic, the Serbian national who was capped all the way up through the senior team. I think he has 2 caps for Serbia. And defender Luis Martin, the 31-year-old Portuguese player who last played with Sporting Kansas City. In the midfield, Andres Cubas, 27-year-old Paraguayan with 13 caps with the national team. Also got to play for Boca Juniors for a while, so that's awfully fun. Midfielder Ryan Raposo, the 24-year-old Canadian who played collegiately at Syracuse. Midfielder Alessandro Schopf, 29-year-old Austrian, 32 caps, 6 goals for his national team. He came through the Bayern system, Philly, Alessandro Schopf, but never capped for the senior club. He does have 143 caps with Schalke and 65 with Bayern 2. Midfielder Pedro Vite, the 21-year-old Ecuadorian. A fun little fact about Pedro Vite, Philly. He capped for the very first time for Ecuador 4 days ago, subbing on for Jose Cifuentes in a 3-1 win over Costa Rica. So a little LAFC connection, sort of, with the always on the ground for some reason, Pedro Vite.
What a frustrating player he was to watch.
He was so frustrating to watch. Midfielder Ryan Gauld, 27-year-old Scottish player who came through the Sporting CP system in Portugal. He did have a handful of caps for them, but he's been with Vancouver since 2021. Forward Brian White, the American longtime Red Bull player and former Gross Duke Blue Devil. And Sergio Cordova, the forward from Venezuela, formerly of RSL and Augsburg, who has 16 caps for his national team. The only players of note really in the 18 are Simon Betcher, Daber Caicedo, and Philly's favorite, Sebastian Berhalter.
Well, I don't have a problem with Sebastian. I don't really even have a problem with his dad. Obviously,
No?
like many people, think, yeah,
No.
I have a problem with his dad. Forget. I don't want to get into this whole Berhalter conversation. I'm as shocked as most of you all that he's the coach for the U.S. men's national team. All those resources, all that time, a third party, and we still have Berhalter. I can't. No, let's just move along.
I thought you were going to get into it. What happened?
No, I don't want to get into this. I mean,
All
like
right.
we already waste too much time on this pod anyway.
Listen, we've got our wait what moment coming, and we haven't had that for quite a while. So I'm excited. Here we go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm going through the lineup right now. No, that's fair. Nice cue up. All right. So a couple of interesting additions to the LAFC lineup. And this might be a wait what moment for y'all, but I wasn't too surprised, and I'll mention that momentarily. But in between the pipes, the man who has been a key piece to our team this season, a man who ended up with 6 saves, tying his career high thus far this season, John McCarthy. In the back, Ryan Hollingshead, Daniil Maldonado, Ilie Sanchez. There's your wait. What moment? More on that in a second. And Chiqui Palacios. And thankfully, man, like when we saw that he was out, disciplinary stuff on the board, I about had a damn heart attack. In the midfield, Jose Cifuentes, Daniel Crisostomo, and Mati Bogusz, who I would say is getting better and better with each and every match that he wears the black and gold jersey. And up top, Carlos Vela, Denis Bouanga, Stipe Biuk. If we're going to talk about players of note, we'll talk about the subs that came into the game. Giorgio Chiellini, Kwadwo Mahala Opoku, Velkom Suruk had Timothy Tillman. He came back. And Eric Dueñas. Of course, we had the youngins there, Julian Gaines, Diego Rosales, Nathan Ordaz, Christian Torres, Eldin Jakupovic was there as well, but they did not feature. So that's your LAFC lineup. Scarf, not as much of a wait what moment for me, having like done my homework and research and seen him play on Sporting Kansas City. Ilie Sanchez defenders had played in this role often during his time towards the tail end of his career under Peter Vermees at Sporting Kansas City. With a roster decimated by so much injury, the wheels were taken off of Ilie Sanchez, having to do all these different things. Go from his unnatural position in the midfield all the way back, playing as a defender. I mean, he's no stranger to that role, y'all, but he certainly looked a little strange being back there, and we'd like for him to continue being a stranger back there because we prefer him in the midfield. Not a great outing for Ilie Sanchez in the back.
Look, there are plenty of other reasons why they scored 3 goals on us today. It definitely wasn't just Ilie Sanchez, but hindsight being 2020, when you have a player like Julian Gaines available, for example, I'll just throw Julian Gaines out there for a quick minute. And you have a player like Ryan Hollingshead who has experience at center back as well. We've tried it this year. Look, it didn't go great. I get it, right? I just, after what we saw today, I think we might have to go back to the drawing board. You're right. Several years ago, Ilie Sanchez did play center back for 2. But 2 on the tires of tread that Ilie Sanchez has, it seems like a little bit more than 2.
5.
There you go. I just look, it's one of those that hindsight being 2020, maybe we don't ever do that again. What was nice though, Philly, before we actually get into the match, one last thing, if you don't mind. Ollie did not almost fly away tonight. Ollie had her normal great couple pad, tried to take Ken's head off right at first, which was kind of fun for us to watch because we know Ken, don't yawn, but watching Ollie have his or her regular flight tonight was I know, at least for Panda especially, she had far less palpitations to start this match. Don't worry, we gave you plenty during the match, but far less watching Ollie have her flight this time.
I think we had a bet going what the over and under would be on the flight time. I bet over 2 minutes. Scarf said under. Scarf
said Ollie would figure it out.
A minute 5 seconds is how long Ollie was in the air for, give or take, when you decided to start the timer after she left the Falconer of the day. But
what do I win?
What do you win? Another day conversing with me. How's about that?
Right.
That's a win for most people, I'd say.
Look, we almost got a win very early on in the match. First minute, Denis Bouanga trying to do his best to beat Bogusz's fast goal record there, but his chip a little too high there in the first minute. We're getting settled. We are gearing up for a corner kick by Ryan Gault over on the opposite side of the north end there. And look, we've run this very same play to success with Ryan Hollingshead and others. That near post rush, the header goes to the back post. And look, as much as people are saying, well, John McCarthy was completely flat-footed and this and that, John wasn't about to get to that ball. And 3 minutes in, Philly, 3 minutes in, we're down 1-0.
It was pretty crazy. This is the second consecutive game where we normally do the Instagram lives and catch everything from Nick playing the trumpet to the starting lineups and all that other stuff. Second consecutive game where I didn't even have enough time to upload to Instagram before a goal was scored. Last time around, it was pretty cool. It was LAFC scoring. This time, unfortunately, it was the Vancouver Whitecaps. And you said it, Veselinovic, Ranko, we'll just call him Ranky, steps back, and with Daniil Maldonado bodying him, he connects with a beautiful header that stuns, not only John McCarthy, but all of us as well. And while it might have been credited for being in the third minute, it technically was at 1 minute and 55 seconds. And with that, that's the 5th fastest goal scored against LAFC all time in MLS regular season. And Vancouver off to an awesome beginning 1-0, which changed their motivation and the entire game. Vancouver, in the previous 2 outings against us, we kicked the crap out of them. I mean, not to sound overly technical, but I mean, we outscored them 6-0 in the CCL matches. But they came in strong. Vanni Sartini had these kids firing on all cylinders, and 1 minute and 55 seconds in, we're down 1-0.
Yeah, frustrating. Obviously, this was not the start that we wanted, but you know what? Plenty of time. We had in the 4th minute, Jose Cifuentes from the top of the box off a great pass from Mati Bogusz. I appreciated Cifuentes one-timing this ball, giving a good look. It was a bender just over the top of the crossbar, moving to the right.
It's about as close as you'd get.
Yeah, but I like that look for Jose Cifuentes. That's how we keep teams honest. If our midfielders, and it has been Jose Cifuentes over the last couple of years, can take those shots and put them on or near frame, you have to account for them. What that often means then is maybe one of the back line has to step up or one of the midfielders has to step over, which creates more room. And what we used to see from Jose Cifuentes is he was able to either make the pass off of creating that room or score a goal off of those type of shots. We have not seen that very much often recently. In the 8th minute, I mean, what a beautiful play. I just loved Mati with the big switch across to Carlos Vela and his pass center of the box to a cutting Jose Cifuentes. Again.
Oh, yeah, that's the closest he would get, my bad.
Yeah, Jose Cifuentes being deadly in the box. Look, would I like to have had him put it anywhere other than right at the keeper? Sure. But what you're seeing in the first 8 minutes now is Vancouver knows, okay, they have Vela, they have Bouanga, but I got to watch out for this Mati Bogusz kid because he's putting the ball exactly where he needs to, and we definitely have to start accounting for Jose Cifuentes. And I loved it. I did not love, unfortunately, the 9th minute.
A couple of shots going in the direction of one John McCarthy. And the more deadly of the plays was when Sergio Cordova kind of sauntered through. Actually, I'm in the 8th minute. No, wait, hold on. Yes, I'm in the 9th minute. Sergio Cordova sauntered in between Daniil and Ilie, and the soccer gods were clearly on our side because that was an easy look for Cordova. He had a couple of them. In the 7th minute was one. The 9th minute was the other one. That could have been an easy goal. We could have easily have been down 2-0 at that point, and I have no idea how Cordova ended up missing. That was a play that I highlighted in my notes. This is going to be something that's going to haunt the Vancouver Whitecaps. I was that confident that we are getting in the game. Cordova was certainly aggressive all throughout this game, but he's going to be having nightmares, and he's going to be punching himself for the missed opportunities he had. The 7th was a good one just to the right of McCarthy, but he missed to the left of McCarthy on the 9th minute, and that should have been 2-0.
Yeah, Sergio Cordova, since he has come over to Vancouver, he hasn't scored a goal for them yet. And they like to play oftentimes with 2 forwards up top. And for a player like Cordova to not have scored a goal for them yet, and you're kind of seeing why. He got a case of the Brian Rodriguez's on that last shot. I mean, should have absolutely put it on frame. It's got to be a little frustrating if you're Vanni Martini, but if you're an LAFC supporter,
Vanni Martini.
What did I say? Vanni Martini.
You said Vanni Martini.
Vanni Martini is what I'm going to order.
This is what you wanted after today's game, a martini,
I did. I'll take a
olive martini. I could totally go for one of those right now.
I dislike olives with the passion of 1,000 suns. No,
You're
thank
a communist.
I am not, but I appreciate that.
Really?
Luckily, I put this in my notes. I kind of put it in a mean way, so I feel bad, but I'll say it anyway. I was so glad it was Ryan Raposo and not a player that plays soccer well when that shot goes right at John McCarthy, given way too much space, and other players will be able to put that where there isn't a keeper, but luckily right at John McCarthy. Ilie pops the ball up. This time we lose the aerial, have to deflect it out for a corner. Luckily, it was Carlos Vela who did a decent job to defend the corner. In the 15th minute, Philly, I loved this ball. It was a over-the-top ball from Jose Cifuentes to Carlos Vela. And afterwards, Carlos turned right back around to Cifuentes and gave him a thumbs up, but also told him to maybe put the ball inside a little bit for him. But I liked, look, I'm going to get heat for it. That's fine. But at least through the first 15 minutes, you guys, I liked the way Jose Cifuentes was playing. Through the first 15 minutes, I liked it. After that, not so much.
Yeah, no, through the first 15, you were right. I mean, it was too much of a touch for Vela to make. But yeah, Sifu was operating on positivity and some really good cylinders at that point. 16th minute, Vancouver, just another nice buildup, a cross into the box, and Brian White, simple header right into John McCarthy. Brian White, Ryan Gauld, two most deadly players for Vancouver.
Yeah.
Players that we needed to watch. Had we done a proper one more sleep, would have mentioned those players as our players to watch. And the passing and the connection in between all of the Whitecaps was solid. They were aggressive. They were fast. They were crisp. They were great, man. They clogged all of our passing lanes. They made it extremely tough for us to build out of the midfield without them creating a turnover. It was just, they played so freaking well, but we'll talk more about that later. 19th minute, Cheeky had a nice ball into Mati, who heads it, but nobody was around there. It was a great opportunity for LAFC at that point, but if nobody's crashing into the box, nothing's going to happen. 20th minute, Vela with a heck of a pass, but Mate again heads it softly into the hands of Takaoka. And then we have a unfortunate scenario in which we find ourselves with our backs against the wall, and courtesy of two players who I'd already mentioned a couple of times.
Yeah, look, again, Ilie is not the only reason why we lost this match, but this was kind of a tough one. He got isolated against a player he's just not going to win an aerial against. That would be Brian White. Pedro Vite, though. It all starts with Pedro Vite. He gets the steal from one Jose Cifuentes, gets the turnover, takes it right from Sifu, and a beautiful pass to spring Sergio Cordova. Cordova to his left to Ryan Gauld. And look, you got to hand it to a player like Ryan Gauld who can put that cross right on the head of Brian White. I don't know that Ilie could ever win that aerial. I don't know what was going on with John's footwork. I watched that play a couple of different times, and I'm still not sure. He kind of came out with an extra step and then couldn't get back, although I don't know. It was such a good angle on the header. I don't know that he gets to it anyway. Plus, as Brian White goes to head it down, it kind of takes a deflection off the top of Ilie's head, so maybe it gave it a little bit more of a tough angle. There's just so many things about that goal that were frustrating because it seemed like a fairly obvious and innocuous play. You say, okay, these guys are going 1v1 in the box. John's got everything in front of him. Maybe he'll get a little bit of help. Just, it seemed, I don't know. Am I wrong when I say it seemed kind of like a soft goal, but they did have numbers going forward? I don't know, Philly. I don't know how to feel about that goal. I mean, I'm pissed about it, but that's about it.
I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, Ilie Sanchez got dunked on. Brian White doing his best Gareth Bale in the MLS Cup final impersonation. It was, Ilie was backtracking. He wasn't in that position. It was a great header, and it was a high header too, man. You saw that sucker float in the air for a while, hitting that top corner. It was a beautiful header. Just unfortunately, They gave us such a textbook counter, and you're right. I mean, Cifuentes getting dispossessed, and I feel shortly after that, that's when his game took a toll, going the reverse direction. Because as you said, the first 15 minutes, he was pretty solid with a lot of his attempts and his passing. But to find ourselves down 2-0 against a team that hadn't scored on us all season, a team that's never won in BMO, just a frustrating state of affairs. And you can see the frustration on the team as Daniel Crisostomo gets stripped of the ball 25th minute, and he immediately goes for that tactical foul, earning himself a yellow. I mean, that was a pure microcosm of the frustration we were all feeling right within that 25th minute. It looked ugly for LAFC.
Yeah, and then we kind of hit that lull in the first half. Not a whole ton going on, I don't think, for the next 5-10 minutes or so. We did get a yellow to Ryan Raposo for stepping in front of a throw-in, delaying the game. I don't know what the yellow was for. I think it was for delay. That's what they wound up calling
for being from Syracuse.
In case you guys don't know, Philly is a Hoosier, and I have been a supporter. I never went to, but I've been a supporter of Syracuse Orangemen for quite some time, which is why Philly has a little bit of a disdain. Don't worry, I don't like Ryan Raposo either. I don't care that he's from Syracuse. I don't like him. That being said, 39th minute, Denis Bouanga able to turn the corner, and we thought, all right, here comes Denis, turns the corner. I don't know if it was a cross. I don't know if it was a shot. I don't know what it was, but nothing happened. So that was a little frustrating. You got Carlos Vela getting absolutely hammered, shoved for a hard foul. The free kick cycled around. Unfortunately, nothing really happens. And Philly, I don't know what Sergio Cordova was thinking in the 43rd minute, but Ilie got caught 1v1 versus Sergio Cordova. And what we saw happen a couple of times in this match, and this, again, is nervous time if you got somebody like Ilie Sanchez back there at center back. Cordova, with the ball on his foot, just ran away from Ilie, who did not have a ball on his foot. and I don't know why Cordova chose to pass that ball back through to the middle, Philly, instead of taking that shot 1v1. But we got lucky once again. That's the second time that Sergio Cordova is doing his best that he can to keep us in this game.
Yeah, but it wasn't his play that made us really nervous, because in the 43rd minute, there's a big shot on J-Mac by Schuff. Daniil Maldonado tried to clear it, but Schuff had himself a really good look. Yeah. And at that point, John McCarthy's getting his fourth save of the half. He's certainly keeping busy. Our backline just doing their best impersonation of the Lincoln Tunnel being completely wide open. J-Mac not being as bored in this game as he was in the second half of our previous match just a couple of days ago. That leads to a corner for the Whitecaps. Nothing transpires there. 44th minute, Mati with a nice touch in the box, but he didn't get enough foot on leather. Mati did play pretty well, but what happens shortly after that? We pull one back, Scarf. We absolutely pull one back, and it all starts with Daniel Crisostomo connecting in the Ryan Hollingshead. Hollingshead to Stipe. Stipe back to Ryan. Ryan slips it in a Vela, but as he's falling down, he slides the pass over into Stipe. Stipe with a cross. Hollingshead gets a boot on it, but that gets saved by Takaoka, and it just happens to, fortunately, bounce in front of number 99, Denis Bouanga, who casually looks at it and then smashes it home for his 11th goal of the season. We claw one back. LAFC 2-1. We're back in this game.
You're absolutely right. I thought that was going to be it for us. I really thought that goal was going to be the catalyst for LAFC being able to come back. Look, I think if anything, it came at a bad time because all the momentum kind of stops once the halftime whistle is blown, and 2 minutes of stoppage time. Carlos Vela fouled at the top of the box. Denis puts one right into the wall, and unfortunately, that's pretty much it that happens at stoppage time. But we go into the half in what seemed like a very bleak turn of events. All of a sudden, you're thinking, all right, just need one now. Just need one to get right back in it. And look, the way that we were playing, we played much, much better over the last few minutes of that first half. And I thought for sure, by the way, we'll make some changes. Maybe Giorgio comes in at the 45-minute mark for, I don't know, Ilie Sanchez. That didn't happen. I want to address that really quickly when we get to the substitution of Giorgio Chiellini coming into the match, so I won't get on it now. But Philly, I really thought that going into the second half, we had a chance to turn things around. First half, as far as I remember, stats weren't too terribly skewed in either direction, no?
I don't know, man. I mean, the stats at the end of the first half for the opposing team being that of Vancouver, will look like something that would have been depressing for a full game. Vancouver had 12 shots with 7 on target after the whistle blew and everybody went in the locker room. 12 shots, 7 on target. Like I said, John McCarthy was kept busy. We don't allow that many shots and that many on target by the opposing team over the course of a full 90, let alone 45. So that goes to show you how rough those first 45 minutes were. As far as we were concerned, 8 shots with 5 on target. So we had our opportunities. We only converted one of the times, whereas Vancouver converted twice, and they could have converted 3 times. Their passing was a little better. We had a bit more in terms of possession. They had more of the set piece opportunities, and we got burned on it. And they also had more of the fouls. They're playing quite physically, as like you alluded to. Carlos Vela being aggressively pushed down towards the end of the half, and there were a lot of calls that were missed. Like, we were getting manhandled, but that's a comment on the officiating, and we already know how we feel about pro referees. Pro meaning pretty rancid officiating.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, you guys, when the eyes of the world are on these Inter-Miami games and you're watching some of these referees, and it's not going to be any good. So
imagine like the pressure the first ref's going to have to like card like Messi when he comes in. Like, will he have the courage, or she have the courage to card him? I don't know. Without getting starstruck, we shall see.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to be starstruck. It's going to be fun. 52nd minute. Let's get into the second half. A perfect cross from Denis Bouanga, but nobody was home on this absolutely beautiful cross. Seemed like it was in between 2 players. Ball collected, cycled back around. Carlos gets to it, but it was more like a toe poke than a shot. I don't know. And right at Takaoka. Takaoka's numbers are going to look a lot better than they actually should be, only because a lot of the shots went right at him. Whereas I think if you look at the degree of difficulty of John McCarthy's saves, it's going to look very different than the degree of difficulty of Takaoka's saves. Philly, I don't think I have seen a player put a ball higher up into the north end. And I mean this lovingly, Denis Bouanga, but I don't think I've seen a player put a ball higher up into the north end than Denis Bouanga shot in the 55th minute.
I mean, it almost hit the north end terrace. In fact, it might have been elevated enough to hit the north end terrace. But you got to give credit where credit is due. Mati Bogusz had a really good ball into Denis Bouanga. And just a bit upstairs, we can call it. But Mati's passing, solid today, man. We're going to talk about him with another solid play. I was really impressed with the young, in this case, midfielder. Denis Bouanga, well, it's nice that he cured his 4-game scoreless streak. We were wondering when Denis would put one in. And look, anytime Denis scores, like, there's a darn good shot that we're going to win. He's been one of our most lethal offensive weapons all season long. He is number 2 in Major League Soccer right now with goals, behind Hani Mukhtar. But way off the mark there. But I will applaud the man for taking the effort. I would rather see somebody taking shots, getting them blocked, missing, than just sitting there trying to look for the pass and just being dispossessed.
Yeah, look, 58th minute. Denis also, his beautiful cross gave us a corner kick. Carlos Vela takes the corner and it goes right. And I mean right to the feet of Jose Cifuentes. He at least looked to take the one-timer, but his shot was deflected, although I think he pulled it back, right, and tried to get another touch on it. I think he's just got to one-time that. I think he also might have been surprised that nobody else touched it. It just came right down to his feet. But this was one of the times that we are going to say, I don't understand how a more solid attempt, a more quality touch doesn't happen with this ball in and around the box. Unbelievable. Philly, 64th minute. I feel bad. I feel bad that I'm kind of harping on Ilie a little bit, but it's off an unfortunate deflection as Ilie tried to clear the ball. I'm not harping on Ilie for this particular play, but the ball gets popped up to Pedro Vite. And look, Ilie 1v1 knows that Pedro Vite is faster than him. He had already been beat by Cordova. He knows Pedro Vite is 21 years old and just made his first cap for his national team. This is a player on the rise. Ilie Sanchez is not a player who is going to be faster tomorrow than he was today. It's just not going to happen. So the ball gets popped up to Vite, and he crosses a beautiful cross, by the way, back to Cordova. Can we talk about the save that John McCarthy made? I mean, come on. There's a couple reasons why Cordova can't score. One is he just couldn't find target. But this ball, Cordova, John has to come all the way out, makes himself big, beautiful save. The rebound finds Gauld, and Philly, he doesn't take it right away. So I thought, okay, we're able to set some things up. We'll see what happens. And Ryan Gauld goes 5-hole on John McCarthy right between the wickets. And Ilie got there just a little late getting to the back line. It's just, I was so frustrated with this goal. 3-1, we're down in the 64th minute.
No, frustrating, so frustrating. But Cordova, despite having that shot saved by John McCarthy, look, he got into the box and he absolutely shaked and baked Daniil Maldonado to clear himself up that room and that look. Had Daniil not been smoked like a brisket on that, then McCarthy wouldn't have had an issue there. But Cordova absolutely just puts Daniil Maldonado in his pocket. And yeah, Ryan Gauld scoring that game. It's his fourth straight game in which he's scoring. I said this on One More Sleep. The guy, when you're on a 3-game scoring streak or any kind of a streak of that nature, you're going to come up big and you're going to be hungry for more goals. And the two players that we said to watch out for, Brian White, Ryan Gauld, the two players that were important in the absence of Brown, Ahmed, and of course Gressel, have their team up 3-1. And I'm stunned, shocked, disappointed, outraged, perplexed, disgusted. How the hell are we down 3-1 to the Vancouver friggin' Whitecaps?
Look, you give up 3 goals at home, and look, Steve was the first one to say it, right? If you give up 3 goals at home, doesn't matter how you play, you don't deserve to win. And that was certainly hard to argue with the way that we played today. Look, that being said, 68th minute rolls around and we have life breathed into us once again. Philly, I want to talk about the 66th minute real quick before we go in to the 68th minute goal. I haven't been able to go back and watch the play on the telecast or with any replays or whatever. The handball no call. I asked our good friend Vince LaRosa. If you guys are not following at Vince LaRose, you need to be following Vince LaRosa. He is a brilliant human who writes wonderfully for and about Los Angeles Football Club, among other things. Please, first of all, #hire Vince. Second of all, follow at Vince LaRose. He's awesome. I turn to him and I go, Vince, I don't know what a handball is anymore. And he looked at me and he goes, no one does. It's okay. No one does. So I don't feel as bad anymore. I don't feel like I'm at least Ted Lasso when it comes to the offside rule, when it comes to handball rules for Scarf here. So I'll take it. I don't know. Philly, do you have thoughts on whether that was a handball or not? Have you been able to watch the replay? Because I have not.
The beauty of sitting where I sit is I have a lovely wife who has her phone with her just to pull up the Apple TV and go back with its beautiful on-demand streaming capability. Yes. It's fun to keep your phone on you. I mean, I'm taking notes diligently all throughout the course of a 90-minute match. She's got her phone on standby just for these plays. My naked eye on that little iPhone screen clearly saw a handball. Unfortunately, the officials, the actual people we needed to see the handball, did not see it. And for that not to be the case, look, it hits another body part, then the hand, then it's not a handball unless it's in a goal scoring opportunity. I don't know anymore, man. This inconsistency, this inability to actually see it via a capable VAR technological service. I just don't like that. I really and I've been saying this all season long, I really wish we had the VAR capability and ability to watch it the way we see things on like Peacock and all the other stations that carry Premier League matches. I wish we had that in Major League Soccer. It would help me understand and see things far better than I do.
Listen, we got to get that Messi money going. Once we get Messi in here, we got that Messi money.
Get that Messi money.
We saw what happened when Banc of California Stadium got that BMO money. All of a sudden it became BMO. They got that fancy gate there in the players' parking lot. They got a couple other things taken care of real quick on the outside. We got to get that Messi money, get those extra cameras in there, because Lord knows they're going to want a triple slow-mo and fast frame and all kinds of fun stuff, what they're doing with Lionel Messi when he starts playing. So I think they might just have a Messi cam. Like you can watch on Apple TV, there'll be the English broadcast, there'll be the Spanish broadcast, and it'll just be the Messi cam. It'll be nobody talking. It'll just be one camera following Lionel Messi the entire match. Even
I'm pretty sure there is something out there called the Messi cam, but it might not be something we could talk about on a family-friendly pod.
Ooh, see, you went there with it. All right, let's get back to Carlos Vela.
My head went there. I'm sure plenty of other people's did as well.
I apologize for my friend Christian Philemon.
Oh, whatever. I'm just reiterating what the millions
and millions
we're thinking, or at least the thousands and
several.
Yeah, sure.
68th minute, Carlos Vela from Mati Bogusz. Look, it's helpful when the defender falls down. That is one way to make it much easier to score a goal. And
down goes Ranko.
No. That was Martin, wasn't it? I think it was Luis Martin.
Down goes Martins.
Yeah, it's he was kind of tracking back to clear this ball and just slipped. And I'll say this: it's one thing to have your defender slip. It's another thing to be able to then collect the ball, make one good soft touch, and then make a beautiful cross to one Carlos Vela. And Mati Bogusz, man, kid, you said it. Any game that I watch him play, I can tell you how he's gotten better from the game before it. This is certainly one of those. The passing touch, what we are seeing from Mati Bogusz, he is developing into a stud of a player right now. Fun to watch. And I got to hand it to the old man, Carlos Vela. Look, El Rey got his footwork right just in time, a little stutter step, was able to pop that ball up and into the goal. It was a wide open goal because of the pass from Mati. The entire play was beautiful. The entire play was absolutely beautiful. And Carlos Vela brings us back within one goal. And you're thinking, all right, we got 22 minutes, Philly, 22 minutes to make it happen.
Yeah, but mother or father or whatever parental you want to use, time wasn't in our favor. But yes, Mati jumping on that like a great white wood, seeing any bit of blood in the water. Carlos Vela, for a lot of the flack people have given him on social media, scores his 6th goal of the season, 9th in all competitions. 6 goals, 5 assists, and we're still complaining that he's having an awful season. We're freaking spoiled if we're complaining that he's having an awful season. But him and Denis, I think that's the first time this season that they've both scored in the same game. I'm pretty sure that's right. I'd have to go back to double check the notes. But with 22 minutes and the momentum shifting in our favor, this at the very least is going to turn out to be a dramatic tie, right, Scarf?
Nope. 71st minute. Denis Bouanga with a low cross to Carlos Vela, saved by Takaoka for a corner. That was it. We had the momentum going. And then I think, again, I hate to second guess some of what was going on today. The substitutions, I had no problem with Eric Duenas coming in for Danny Crisostomo. No problem with Mahala coming in for Stipe Butte, because I don't think Stipe had a very good game, to be perfectly honest. I don't think he was at least as deadly as we might have wanted him to be. So
Mahala nearly got an assist to Ryan Hollingshead, Scarf.
Just he did. I hear you. I just don't think he was as deadly as often as we would like him to be.
Stipe is not Brian Rodriguez, y'all. Stipe is a TAM player, not a DP, making about 600,000 or so less than Brian. I just want to reiterate that. Can't have the same expectations or comparisons with Brian.
Yeah, I hear you. Giorgio Chiellini on for Mati Bogusz. Now, as much as I absolutely wanted to see Giorgio Chiellini into the match, I was a little surprised it was for Mati Bogusz, because I think what Mati was able to do in terms of his playmaking ability. So I don't know how to juggle the subs. I don't know how to make the lineup work. But what I'm saying is Mati Bogusz seemed to be deadly almost every single time he touched the ball. I really appreciated his efforts going forward. I know Giorgio obviously is the better option than Ilie Sanchez out there at center back. So what they did was they moved Mahala. He stayed up. Eric Duenas stays up for Danny. So that's a like for like sub. Same thing with Mahala. But the unlike for like sub is Giorgio Chiellini coming on for Mati Bogusz, which allows Ilie Sanchez to move to his normal and natural position in the midfield, which was so much better for us. That being said, unfortunately, now we're down to 18 minutes left and still nothing on the board more for LAFC.
No, but what the bonus, the thing I'd say, like the silver lining, other than the fact that the boys found themselves down and tried to grind it into the match, we finally have the return of Timothy Tillman. And gather around, students. This is German time with Philly. Repeat after me, Scarf. Willkommen.
Willkommen.
Zurück.
Zurück.
Herr Tillman.
Herr Tillman.
Willkommen zurück, Herr Tillman.
Willkommen zurück, Herr Tillman.
Yeah, that means welcome back, Mr. Tillman in Germany. That was a bright note. We've surely been missing his presence in the midfield. Until Mati, starts to prove us a little otherwise, I still think Timothy Tillman, our most important signing thus far in the offseason, until hopefully after July 1st. But it was really nice seeing him get into the game. He didn't really get too much into the game, a couple of taps and touches here, but he finds himself into the game. 83rd minute, Denis with a nice pass to Sifu, who talk about off of the mark.
Yeah.
Sifu booted it not towards the north end, not in the direction of Takaoka, but in the direction of Figueroa, not the club, the street. It was that off the mark. Look, I've loved me some Jose Cifuentes. He has been a key part of our success over the past couple of years. But when it comes to him being an offensive threat in the final third, unless he's dishing it and collecting himself a dime, he is not a threat as a goal scorer. If I'm Takaoka or anybody else, Tyler Miller, anybody else, hell, if I was Kenneth Vermeer, I would not be afraid of Jose Cifuentes getting the ball in the final third. He's just not precise, and he's not a good finisher. You said it the first 15 minutes of this game. He was a lot closer on the target, but when you boot a ball in a Figueroa that way, I don't even think I'd miss that bad in a play like that. Jose Cifuentes has had like moments, like half seasons where he's just been dynamite. Like I think the last half last year, he was awesome. The year prior to that, the first half of the season, he was awesome and then kind of regressed. This season, I don't know, man. Just anytime he gets the ball in the box, I'm like, turnover, off the mark. I don't have any confidence in Jose Cifuentes' ability to finish in the final third. Zero.
Yeah, look, playing with one foot in Europe, most likely, right? That's all the rumors we've talked about.
I think he's shooting himself in the foot, Scarf, if he's going to play like that. If I'm Rangers or Hearts of Midlothian or anybody else, I'm like, I'm going to spend how much for this kid? Oh, I don't know. I might want to withdraw. Pull out pull out. Never pull out, never surrender.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with Jose Cifuentes. Look, just a few minutes later, Denis Bouanga pressing quite a bit, and his shot was not even close as well. They take out Ryan Gauld in the 88th minute for Deber Caicedo. 4 minutes of stoppage time. We get one more real wide shot by Denis Bouanga, and Philly in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, an absolutely perfect ball from Carlos Vela to Jose Cifuentes. Why he didn't shoot right away, I don't know. He took it down, looked to work it around the box a little bit.
He fumbled it, man. Fumbled it, got it taken away. I mean, it was a nice buildup, but niente, nada, nothing came from that.
You mentioned it. Really the highlight for the last, 22 minutes, we'll say, besides Giorgio Chiellini coming on for me, which was great. Giorgio doesn't look fast right now. He's definitely playing with smarts. Rather than with any speed. I don't know how healthy Giorgio really is, but he gave us, 20 solid minutes or so. The highlight was for the first action since June 5th for Timothy Tillman. He only played 27 minutes versus Leon on June 5th, coming off And it was really nice to see him back. His first action in 20 days. Unfortunately, Philly, the whistle blows. We lose 3-2. First win for Vancouver on the road after giving Houston their first win on the road not too far back ago. Really? That's how we're going to phrase that, JR? All right, you're tired. That's okay. Keep going. I don't like this trend of giving teams their first win on the road, but Philly, the stats sort of evened out after the second half. I mean, much better on the attack, I felt. And look, the games aren't won on the stat sheets, right? The only stat that matters is goals, but take us through toward the end of the match for stats.
17 shots with 9 on target by LAFC. 16 shots with 9 on target for Vancouver. LAFC, 62% possession. Vancouver, 38. Passing accuracy, much better by LAFC. They created more chances than Vancouver at the end of the day. More fouls they accumulated over Vancouver. And, I mean, that's your story, Scarf. I mean, you said it, an alarming trend that we've given another team who hadn't won a road game all season another win. And look, this is the second time we failed to defend the Banc to a winless team on the road. The most regular season games, just so you all know, that we've lost at home is 3. And that goes back to 2021. We've already lost 2 and drew 2, with the remainder obviously being wins. We have 7 more home games. 7 more home games, and we have 2 losses. I mean, we've defended the Banc countless times. And yes, one will argue that we're still defending the Banc relatively well, but Vancouver had not won a road game, not just necessarily all season. Vancouver hadn't won a road game since July of last year. Over a year since Vancouver last won a road game. And they did it in all places. Our Cathedral of the Black and Gold, BMO Stadium, I'm horrified that happened. Yes, the game plan, they stuck with it, brother. Their passing was crisp. They converted. I mean, that textbook counter that led to the second goal of the game. We made mistakes. We let in 3 goals. We rarely let in that many goals against anybody, let alone at home. It was just, I left the Banc today just feeling really deflated and just bummed out. Now, we'll talk about why in just a second, but it really sucks to have spent all Saturday there, all 15 or so hours, just to walk out this empty-handed. Yeah, if we had a few more freaking minutes, you'd think the moment, like, we could have done something. We were knocking on that door, but mother, father time wasn't in our favor.
And look, here's what I will say. We played like crap. We didn't deserve to win. You give up that many goals, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you do. However, when you look at the table, while we now have to share our top spot, we're back sharing first place again on 32 points with St. Louis. We do have a game in hand, 19-18. So St. Louis with 29 points through 18 matches. St. Louis with 32 points through 19 matches. We have 32 points through 18, but that does keep us in first place in the West. So while the sky might seem like it's falling, maybe just a little piece every now and then. Not sure there's even any point to get into the Supporter Shield race, as we are 11 points back, even though we do have 1 match in hand. It's still going to be awfully tough, I think, for LAFC at this point in the season to catch FC Cincinnati. But you know what? There's always a chance. So until we're mathematically eliminated, we'll at least keep checking in on it. Philly, we at least get a week off. We get a week off in between matches. We don't play again until July 1st, but I just want to reiterate, everybody. Starting July 1st, we run another gauntlet of matches. And these are just the matches that are scheduled, but either way, we'll get a little break after this gauntlet. But we play another 5 matches in 15 days. That's 1 every 3 days, folks. July 1st. We go to Dallas. July 4th, we're at the Rose Bowl against Carson. July 8th, we're back at BMO against San Jose. July 12th, we're back at BMO against St. Louis. July 15th, we go to Minnesota. And then we get a little break for the Leagues Cup. So we get a week off, and then Philly, it is a gauntlet once again. 5 matches in 15 days. If we were tired before, We've got a week to get untired before we're going to get retired again.
Oh, was that a cue for me to chime in? Yeah, sorry.
I mean, sure.
7 games over the course of the last 20 days between June 4th and June 24th. We've gone 2-4-1. If you really want to break down the math, in that time period, we're playing a game every 2.86 days. I'm tired of podcasting. I'm sure y'all are in some cases are tired of hearing us or seeing us, let alone I just can't even imagine mentally and physically how our players are doing. I mean, we've played thus far 26 games this season, logged over 30,000 miles. It's just been a whirlwind. And yeah, a week off is great. And Steve said they're looking forward to it because within that 2-4-1 record span, they haven't had time to really make that many adjustments. They haven't had that much time to go back and look at the videotape. They haven't had that much time to address or really make any of the corrections or any of the changes or tinker with things the way they would need to. They pretty much stood by their regular game plan and just moved a couple of pieces to and from. This finally puts us in an advantageous spot. I mean, look at what Vancouver had. Vancouver had 2 freaking weeks off, and they played solidly today. Can you imagine if we actually had a break of more than 2 hours, how good and efficient our team can be if they can build and learn upon their mistakes? I think this puts us in a very good position heading into Frisco, Texas against FC Ribeye Steak in about a week's time.
Yeah, look, I think obviously the best thing to do right now is to just rest, to turn off everything. What we heard from the players, Danny Crisostomo and Stipe Buke, but especially with Danny after the match today, he said it's mainly mental at this point. Being able to turn off the mental aspect for a day or two is going to be huge for these players. All they've had time to do is regroup, refocus, and plan for a new team. Regroup, refocus, plan for a new team. Regroup, refocus, plan for a new team. To be able to wake up tomorrow and not think about the next team just yet. To be able to wake up tomorrow and not think about anything other than what can I do to get my body right? Turn off your mind for a little bit. That's going to be huge, huge for this club. And I really think, hopefully, this week off will propel us into the next 15 days. And look, I like the matchups that we have ahead of us. I mean, look, I already talked about it, but Dallas is a team that if you want to be good in the West, you got to beat a team like Dallas. Obviously, they have Jesus Ferreira, and they've got a bunch of quality on that club, but we should beat Dallas. We can beat and we should beat Carson. I know we've gone back and forth with San Jose as of late, but again, if we're going to be the best in the West and the best in MLS, we got to circle the match against St. Louis as well, because St. Louis could be one of those that we're jockeying for positions towards the end of the season with. So if we take those 3 points from them at BMO, that's huge. And then cap it off with a win against the Loons in Minnesota. We need at least 12 points. At least 12 points from these 5 matches. At least 12. Look, it's pretty simple. We got to get 12. That's 4 wins. 4 wins. Make it happen.
Otherwise, Philly and Scarf give you the red card.
Look at that.
What, do you think I was really going to go an entire pod without some kind of prop? I needed some kind of prop, Scarf. Some kind of prop.
I hear you. I'm going to need something to prop my head up after this. It's been a solid hour and 18-minute episode. We know it's not the most fun of all topics, but I think, Philly, this puts a bow on it.
Nope, it does not. Not yet. I do want to say one last thing, and I'll promise I'll make it quick.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into specifics, but obviously, like we talked about this earlier with some of the hateful and bigoted rhetoric that occurred on social media as we were trying to film something very amazing, beautiful, and positive. Also, going to just highlight the the comments by one idiot made about the 3252. Now, I'm not going to give any specifics. I'm going to leave it up to you to do the searches for that. But I want to tell you a story that I came across on the internet that made me feel real good. And it's going to hopefully inspire y'all. So gather around, y'all, one last time, story time with Philly. And this one incorporates animals. Now, the donkey told the tiger, the grass is blue. The tiger replied, no, the grass is green. The discussion starts becoming heated, and the two decide to do what most animals will do, and that's submit the issue to arbitration. So they approach the lion, and as they approach the lion on his throne, the donkey starts screaming, Your Highness, isn't it true that the grass is blue? And the lion replies, if you believe it to be true, the grass is blue. Donkey rushes forward and continued. The tiger disagrees with me, contradicts me, annoys me. Please punish him. King Lion declares the tiger will be punished with 3 days of silence. Donkey jumps around for joy, goes about his merry way, content repeating, the grass is blue, the grass is blue, the grass is blue. Tiger's just like, yo, dude, what's up? He asked the lion, Your Majesty, why have you punished me? After all, the grass is green. Lion replies, you've known the grass is green. You've seen the grass is green. The tiger asks, so then why'd you punish me? The lion responds, this has nothing to do with the question of whether the grass is green or blue. The punishment is because it is degrading for a brave, intelligent creature like you to waste your time arguing with an ass. And on top of that, you came and bothered me with that question just to validate something you already know. So the conclusion, defenders, and I'm going to steal this because I thought it was cool as well, is the biggest waste of time is arguing with the fool and the fanatic who doesn't care about truth or reality, but only the victory of their beliefs and illusions. Never waste time on discussions that make no sense. There are people who, for all the evidence presented to them, do not have the ability to understand. Others are blinded by ego, hatred, resentment, racist bigotry, and the only thing they want is to be right even when they aren't. When ignorance screams, and there's so much bloody ignorance out there, intelligence moves on. And that is story time and philosophy with Philly.
That was Philly keeping it short. That was impressive. All right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we've said our piece on a couple of these things. Love is love, everybody. And at the end of this episode, let's just show each other some love, some patience. And for all of you that'll be out there at Angel City tomorrow or later on tonight, we'll see you guys there too. Because you know what? We're just going to celebrate playing some good football. It'll be Pride Night there too. So come hang out with us. And until then, you guys know how we like to end each and every one of our episodes. Bye-bye.